Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga, etc. and I'm here today to bring the review for Shaman King episode number 2, Ren's intro. Ren is basically the focus point of this episode, and we're just introducing him, and it's just introducing him as a character. And in ways, I can understand where he's coming from more so than I did when I was back as a child. I think that's simply because of a dubbing issue, but the way Ren is portrayed for me is that he's a good bad guy. I know contradictory words here, but he's a good bad guy. We have that whole thing of him in the graveyard and he's talking to Morty. Yes, Morty, not Manta. He's talking to Morty about how not seeing the stars, and as the episode goes on, he talks about how we as humans are polluting the earth. Like, these things are rightly so. He is right to say these things, but the way he goes about trying to quote unquote fix these problems is wrong. As we see, he was willing to kill a human within this episode. I mean, I say humans like shamans are not human, but normal people, normal folk like like us. And so that's why I call him a good bad guy. And another thing that adds to his good bad guy persona is the fact on how he treats spirits. And now at this point, he treats spirits like quote unquote machines, like tools, like things that don't have no life to them, when essentially they are dead. But they had a life. They had a life. They were people who had emotions and had been through life. They still feel. But at this moment, Ren doesn't treat them like so. And this sparks a reaction within Yo, because up until now, we've seen Yo as the happy, or at least I've seen him as the happy-go-lucky type, and we haven't seen him serious. Well, it was only one episode. It was only one episode prior to this, but we haven't seen him serious up until this point, and we see that the way spirits are treated is something that he is generally serious about. So once he sees Ren treating his guardian ghost, Bason, in a way he doesn't like, he starts to get serious, and that's what leads that's what drives him to want to fight Ren. As we know, as Ren wanted to fight Yo anyway, because he wanted Amidamaru for himself. So the fight breaks out, and now one, I just want to say really, really quickly, I find it very odd that no other car or person walked up and all down that road in the time they were fighting. Just saying. But the main thing I wanted to say is that how that's a difference between the 2021 version and the older version. I remember it splitting up where they had a fight there on the road, and they later fought in the graveyard again. And now I can't remember why the fight was split up within the original version, but I don't think it matters. The fight took place. We get the whole thing with 100 using 100% of your spirit unity, and we see that Yo can't do that first, but as things go on, he learns this, I was gonna say trick, we'll say skill. And now I think I can't remember why the fight broke up within the original version. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that quick. But as for right now, I feel like that makes more sense. I don't feel like, because Ren wanted to steal Amidamaru, so I don't see why the fight would have split up. Maybe it would make sense if I go back and watch it. But if it makes more sense to me that the fight took place all in one place, and that they learned the skill there and then, because it makes more sense to me that way. One thing I do want to say though is that I feel like, again, this is a dubbing issue, but I feel like the dub hit more home with this speech on because once Yo learns how to do 100% unity, there's a speech between Ren and Yo, and this is in the original, in the dub, about how Yo was always taught to treat spirits like friends, where we know Ren likes to treat them as tools, and basically they go back and forth about which one is better, which way is the true way to treat a spirit. I feel like that hits home more in the dub than it does within the 2021 version. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. Not saying that it doesn't hit home, but I feel like it just hits home more. And that's everything to say about this episode. The episode then goes on. No, it's not everything I want to say about the episode, but the episode then goes on to a flashback on why Yo wants to become Shaman King, and now I think this hits. I think this hits home in this version more than it does within the dub. I want to say it might be my memory, but I want to say that there was less of a reasoning for why Yo wants to become Shaman King in the dub back in the day than this. So I did enjoy that scene very much. So then we have Yo waking up in the hospital, and we are introduced to Anna, Yo's fiance. And now the introduction was good. It still had like the sassy Yana I'm remembering from my childhood, with the slap from to Morty right at the very end. But I feel like the way they introduced her within the original dub was better than this, and that's simply because we have Yo in the hospital. We have Morty doing this narration about how I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was like something on the long lines of everything was I thought everything was going to be calm now, but did I know that things would start to get worse? And basically, that might not have been it, but regardless of what was said, it made it seem like incoming. It made it seem like that Anna was a bad itch, and she still is a bad itch. The slap, the slap, proves that. But I feel like, again, it was done better in the dub. I feel like in the dub, the introduction was okay, a bad itch was coming, and where a bad itch was coming. Whereas in this 2021 version, it's a bad itch has arrived. But I feel like the bad itch that was coming in the dub was a better one than the 2021 version. A little other things I want to say that I noticed about this episode that I want to mention. Not to say that I'm not a fan of Yo's and Morty's voice actors. They are good, don't get me wrong, but I feel Ren's voice actor is really good. Like, if I had to compare to sub and dub, something you really shouldn't do, very controversial, but I would say that both the sub and the dub voice actors were fitting, and I wouldn't say one was better than the other. But in regards to Ren, I definitely prefer his Japanese voice actor than his English one. Last thing I want to mention, Basson's complexion. I prefer it. I prefer it in the original version. He's a bit more darker, and I prefer that. That's the last thing I got to say about this episode. Rating will be a 3-star. Like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.